Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're diving straight into the foundational magic that makes modern websites actually, well, interactive. If you've ever found yourself wondering how hitting an Add to Cart button instantly updates your shopping cart without a page reload, or how your social feed just magically loads new posts as you scroll down, well, you're absolutely in the right place. We're going to break down JavaScript, the document object model, and exactly how they work together to bring flat, static web pages to life. So, let's kick things off with a quick question. Think about this. If a website was a living, breathing city, what role would JavaScript actually play? Learning programming languages can feel super intimidating at first. It's kind of like trying to read an alien language, right? But if we ground these concepts in a relatable, real-world analogy, like just navigating through your local neighborhood, I promise you, the whole shebang starts to just click right into place. All right, here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll hit the web city analogy, then semantic HTML foundations, followed by understanding the DOM tree. After that, we'll look at single-page applications, check out some modern JavaScript features, and wrap it all up with front-end architecture and security. Let's get to it. Section 1. The web city analogy. Okay, so every modern website relies on three core pillars. Using this concept, developers call separation of concerns. It's actually pretty brilliant. Think of your HTML file as the physical structure of a building. The bricks, the wood framing, the drywall, the heavy wooden door. It's just the foundation. Then you've got CSS, right? CSS is the styling. It's the fresh coat of paint, the cool interior design, the neon sign out front. But here's the catch. A fully built, beautifully painted building is just an empty shell until something actually happens inside. And that is where JavaScript comes in. JavaScript is the functionality. It's what happens when someone turns a doorknob or rings a bell, literally the day-to-day operations of, say, a busy pizza shop running inside that building. Now, you might be wondering, how do we actually wire these three pieces together when we're coding? Well, it's surprisingly straightforward. First up, you create your HTML file, almost always called index.html. To bring in all those pretty designs, you just drop a simple link tag up in the head section of your HTML to attach your style.css file. Then, to inject the actual brainpower, your interactive logic, you use a script tag that points to your logic.js file. Usually you drop that right before the body of your HTML closes out. And bam, just like that, your structure, your style, and your logic are all securely talking to each other. Section 2, Semantic HTML Foundations. Okay, quick history lesson. Back in the day, developers used to build out entire web layouts using endless, generic div tags for literally everything. We jokingly call it div soup because it's just a messy bowl of code. It worked, sure, but it completely lacked any real meaning. Semantic HTML completely changes the game by replacing those generic divs with tags that actually describe exactly what they're doing, like header, main, and footer. This is an absolutely massive upgrade. As you can see, that second approach is just so much clearer. It's not only easier for us developers to read, but, and this is crucial, it's way better for the browser's engine and accessibility tools, like screen readers, to actually understand what your page is about. Think about it like this. A well-run city relies on very clear zoning laws, right? You wouldn't just plop a super noisy, smoky factory right in the middle of a quiet, leafy residential street. In the same way, you really shouldn't scatter your core page content randomly across your code. Semantic HTML strictly enforces this by giving us rules. The central, meaty content of your page needs to sit safely inside a single main element, and then you divide that up into thematic areas using section tags. Basically, it keeps your digital city perfectly zoned and running smoothly. Section 3. Understanding the DOM tree. Now we're getting to the really good stuff. The document object model, universally known as the DOM, is absolutely foundational to being a front-end developer. See, when a web browser loads up your HTML page, it doesn't just read it as a boring, flat text file. Nope, it translates it into this invisible, highly dynamic interface, a logical tree structure. This tree acts as the ultimate bridge between your static HTML and your interactive JavaScript. It is literally the master control panel that lets your JavaScript instantly change the structure, the style, or the content of the entire document right on the fly. So to really harness this, you have to understand the anatomy of this tree. Here's the secret. In the DOM, absolutely everything gets turned into what we call a node. The document itself, that's your root node. All of your HTML tags, like your paragraphs and your headers, those are element nodes. The properties living on those tags become attribute nodes. Guys, even the actual words you type inside the tags are transformed into text nodes.
And because every single piece is carefully categorized as a node on this giant tree, JavaScript can easily target, grab, manipulate, or delete literally any specific piece of the web page in a fraction of a second. How cool is that?
Section 4, Single Page Applications. This brings us to single page applications, or SPAs, which basically take this whole DOM manipulation thing and crank it up to 11. Instead of the old school way, where clicking any link forces your browser to completely wipe the screen blank and ask the server for a brand new page, an SPA just cleverly swaps out the content you need right then and there. Let's go back to our city analogy for a second. Imagine a struggling local pizza shop gets bought out. Instead of a demolition crew coming in, destroying the entire block, and rebuilding the whole street just to open up a Domino's, an SPA is like a magic crew that simply swaps out the sign, the furniture, and the menu in the blink of an eye. The rest of the street stays exactly the same. That is what makes modern web apps feel so incredibly fast and fluid. Section 5, Modern JavaScript Features. Now, JavaScript has come a massive way since the ES6 update years ago, and the recent modern features rolling out in ES 2024 and ES 2025 are literal lifesavers. They are saving developers countless hours of frustrating debugging. For example, grouping arrays by a specific key, that used to mean writing complex, clunky loops. Now we just use object.groupby, and boom, it's done in a single line. Dealing with messy async queues, Promise with resolvers lets you easily pull the resolve and reject functions right out of a promise. And get this, ES 2025 gives us promise.try, letting you handle both synchronous and asynchronous errors uniformly, so you don't have to wrap every little thing in manual try-catch blocks anymore. The bottom line, these modern features mean you're writing shorter, cleaner, and significantly faster code. Of course, mastering the web isn't an overnight thing. It's a journey, following a complete front-end roadmap. In your first month, you're really just nailing down the platform basics, pure HTML and CSS. By month 3, you're diving deep into JavaScript and manipulating that DOM tree we talked about to make things move. As you push toward the 1-year mark, you start layering in the heavy hitters, tools like TypeScript, big front-end frameworks like React or Vue, and finally, robust application architecture and quality testing. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and you build that expertise layer by carefully constructed layer. Section 6, Front-End Architecture and Security. Right now, there's a fascinating trend sweeping the industry called the HTML first philosophy. Look, modern JavaScript frameworks are unbelievably powerful, which means it's super easy to get carried away and ship massive, bloated amounts of code to your users. HTML first pushes back against that. It encourages a kind of modern minimalism. It's basically asking developers to lean on the native built-in capabilities of the browser first, maybe sprinkling in some lightweight libraries like HTMX or Alpine.js before just blindly defaulting to a heavy JS framework. It's all about picking the right tool for the job to keep your websites incredibly fast and super accessible. And there's another absolutely critical reason we need to be careful with our code, and that's security. The DOM is incredibly powerful, yes, but attackers have been actively exploiting client-side vulnerabilities like DOM-based cross-site scripting or XSS for years. Think about it. If you use JavaScript to take untrusted, malicious input from a user and slap it directly into the DOM without sanitizing it first, well, you're essentially handing a hacker the master keys to your user's browser. With great DOM manipulation power comes the absolute responsibility of locking down your application. Wow, okay, we've covered a massive amount of ground today. We went from the foundational HTML bricks and CSS paint, over to the day-to-day JavaScript operations, and right down into the invisible DOM tree that wires the whole system together. You now officially understand the architectural blueprint of the modern web. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Knowing these building blocks and understanding both their immense power and their potential vulnerabilities, how are you going to architect your very first digital city? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and honestly, I cannot wait to see what you build.